Elementor is pretty much the best WordPress website builder out there. It provides a range of tools that makes it easy for us to build professional websites for clients on WordPress. In this video, we'll take a look at how you can use Elementor to build WordPress websites. Don't worry if you haven't used Elementor WordPress before, because I'll be explaining everything step by step. With the skills you'll learn from this video, you'll be able to take any design out there and turn it into a professional, functional WordPress website. Let's get started. Please like the video and subscribe to help me blow up my channel. Thank you. To effectively demonstrate how to use Elementor in WordPress, we are going to be building this website from scratch. So what I want you to do is log into your WordPress and go to the plugin section here. Search for Elementor and install it. Once it is installed, you are going to need to click on Activate to activate the plugin. On this page, you are going to need to click on Start Setup in order to create your Elementor account, but I already have one, so I'm going to click on this page here to log in. We need to create an account in Elementor because this is going to allow us to use this Bliss theme here and allow us to modify our footer as well as our header. So once you've created your account, just click on Continue with Bliss theme. In here, I'm just going to skip and then skip. This will take us to the Elementor WordPress website builder for the first time, and this is basically what we'll be using to build our entire website. Basically, on the far left here, we have the icons that we are going to be using to build our website, and at the top here, we can click on this icon to add elements to our page. This icon here is our site settings, and we're going to be using this to modify settings that apply across our entire site. And the last icon here is our structure. Basically, this will show us the structure of our website over here. So we're going to be using this to edit our website. Next, we have these icons here, and they basically function as our responsive checker. Basically, if you want to see what your website looks like on a phone, on a tablet, you are going to be pressing these buttons as we build our website. So in order to start building our website, we just need to exit this one here and then exit back to WordPress. In WordPress, we can delete this dummy page here because we don't need it. So send that to the trash. Okay, the first thing we'll do is create our pages for our website. And as you know, the first page of our website is going to be our home page. So click on Add Page here and we're going to create our home page. Once we're done, we just click on Publish here and click on Publish. And then go back to WordPress. In here, we're going to click on Add Page again. And we're going to do the same thing for all the other pages. So I'm going to fast forward and skip this part. So at this point, we now have all the pages that we need for our website. We have our About Us, Contact Us, Home page, Privacy Policy, as well as our Services page. So now that we have all our pages, we can go to the WordPress menu here and then go to Menus here to make our menu. We are going to give it main menu as our name. Let's say main menu. And then we're going to mark these checkboxes here to create the menu and then click on create menu. Once our menu is created, we are going to click on these pages here. We have our contact, About Us, Services, Home page. I think we're missing some other pages, but okay, here they are. We are going to click on our home page, our Contact Us, About Us, Privacy Policy page, and Services, and then add them to our menu here. They're going to appear like this, but we're going to make sure that our home page is first, and then the Services page. And then the privacy page is going to be underneath our About Us page like this, and we're going to save our menu. As you can see, building our menu was super simple, and this is going to be our menu for the entire site. Once we're done building our menu, we can now start creating our header. Our header is basically the part of the website that doesn't change. It's usually at the top and it's the same from page to page. Contains our logo, our navigation bar, and a few icons there. So to create our header, we basically need to install another plugin. So go to plugins and click on add plugins. In here, you are going to search for a plugin called Hello Plus. And then we are going to install it. The Hello Plus plugin is made by Elementor and it's an extension of the Hello Plus theme, as you can see we've applied here. Once it is installed, you just click on activate, and as you can see, it is now activated. Once we have both the Elementor plugin and the Elo Plus plugin, we can now begin building our header and footer. So basically, to build our footer and header, we are going to go to templates and click on add new. In here, we are going to choose Elementor header and then give it a name. This will basically give us a list of options to choose from, and I will choose this one because I like it, but you can choose whichever one you like. It doesn't really matter because we're going to change it and customize it. So I'm going to click on insert, and as you can see, this is our header for now. In our header, you can see that we have our menu right here, you have a button, and you have our logo here, right? So the first thing we'll do is go to site identity, and in here, we're going to upload our logo. Let's click on upload logo, and then I'm going to drag our logo into there. Once our logo is uploaded, we can now start to style it. So go to the style tab here and make sure that its size is 150 pixels like this, so it becomes bigger. From there, we can go back to content and customize our CTA buttons. For the first button, we are going to click on it, and instead of contact us, we are going to say the button is sign up, and then change our icon here into another icon. Once we're done changing the text, we're going to go back to the styles tab and go to our CTA button, and then we are going to change the color of the button to orange by clicking on this button here. Another thing we can do to make our colors easier is click on this button here to save this color so that we can use it later without referencing or inputting this number manually. So when I click on this one, I will get to name this color as our main color. This is going to be the main color of our website. This is orange. And then I'm going to remove the border from the button, and I'm going to add a small box shadow like this. As you can see, our header is almost done and it looks good on all devices regardless of size, but you can see that when you hover over the button, you get the blue color there. So to change that, you can go to the styles tab and navigate to the CTA button, and then click on the hover section here and change this color to our main color, which is orange. And now as you can see, when you hover over the button, you don't get that orange color anymore. To add our secondary CTA button, we are going to click on CTA button here and then check this button here. This will give us another button for our secondary CTA, and for this one, we are just going to have our cards here like that. To add an icon, we just click here and search for a card icon. We are going to use this one here. And from there, what I can do is click on publish, and this will be our header, and it will basically appear at the top of each and every one of our pages. To make it appear on our home page, we are going to exit back to WordPress, go to pages, and then select our home page, which is this one here. We can click on edit and then click on edit in Elementor to open it in Elementor. As you can see, this is going to be our home page like this here. We have our header at the top here as we build it, but you'll notice that we have this home page title here. In order to remove it, we basically need to click on these settings here for page settings, and we're going to change our page layout here from default to Elementor full width, and then we can click on publish. Another thing you'll notice is that our header takes in the entire screen, but we kind of need our content to end somewhere here like this. We don't need it to take up the entire screen because every website needs to be centered, right? So to change that, we can go back to WordPress, go back to templates and save templates, and we can see this is our header here. We just need to click on edit with Elementor. And from here, what we need to do is click on advanced and then check this button here. This will basically constrict our header here, as you can see, to this section here. So basically this is our header. We just have to click on publish for now, and that's it. And by the way, if you want to remove this one and this one here, if you want to remove them, we can go back to WordPress and then click on appearance and then menus, and in here for our main menu we are going to uncheck these two options here and click on save menu. And from now on, when we visit our home page, you can see that we don't have those two footers. We just have our header here and we have our footer. So that's basically how we build our header, as you can see. Now what we need to do is build our footer. The footer is basically the section of the website that appears at the very bottom of every page. It is the same on every page, and it usually contains our logo, our social media icons, and some legal information or address. To build our footer, we are going to need to do the following. First, we go back to WordPress, and in here, we are going to go to templates and click on add new. In here, we are going to click on hello plus footer, and we are going to name this one footer, like this, footer, and click on create template. And basically, this will give us a few footers to choose from. I like this one here, so I'm going to click on insert, but you can choose whichever one you like. It doesn't really matter. So basically, you can see we now have our footer here with our logo, some legal information, and also our pages here. I'm going to customize it so when you hover over these links here, you don't get the green color, but you get the orange color, because those are our colors. To do that, you just need to go to styles and click on this pattern here and change this color from blue to orange, and then click on the navigation and go to hover and change this color to main here. So now that when you hover over our links here, you will have the orange color instead of the green. And one thing I've noticed is that our logo is too small there, so let's change that one from this size to 150 pixels to make it bigger. And you can see we now have our footer like this. To publish it, you just click on publish here, and if I go back to my home page here and click on refresh, you can now see that we have our footer like this. But as you can see, our footer is larger than our header. We need to make sure that our footer aligns with our header. To do that, you go back here and you navigate to the bottom to box here, and in box we are going to change this one here from pixels to em. And for the right, we are going to put it at 19. For the left, we are going to put it 21. And for the bottom, I'm just going to say 1. And for the top, I'm going to say 3. This is basically adding space to the outside of our footer. So I'll just click on publish once I've made those changes and go back to our page and refresh, and you can see that our footer now aligns with our header, as you can see there, right? The next thing we need to build on our website is the hero section. Basically, a hero section is the large attention grabbing area at the top of our website in our homepage or landing page. We need to build the hero section of our website. To do that, we simply go to pages and then select our home page and click on edit with Elementor. As you can see, we already have our header and our footer, and they already look good, so you don't have to modify those. We are done with those. We just need our hero section in here. To add our hero section, what we can do is click on add here. So basically, when you click on add, it'll show you these two layout options here. The first layout here for Flexbox is when you want to stack elements on top of one another, either horizontally or vertically. The next option here is when you want to make a grid, right? You want to place items next to one another in their own items without stacking them. So for the hero section of our website, we are going to have an image here and we're going to have text over here. So we're going to need a grid, right? For the grid, we're going to choose this one here, which is going to have 2 columns with 1 row. So in one column, we're going to have an image, and in the other column, we are going to have text. So in the first column here, we're going to have text, but instead of adding text into it directly, we are going to need to add a container. A container will basically contain all the text elements we are going to put into that element. You basically need to use a container if you want to group elements together. So I'm going to drag our container into this here, and once I have my container, I'm going to go back to this plus here to add another element, and I'm going to drag an image into the other grid here. So now we have this structure here, and this is good. To add our text, we are going to go back to this element here, and I'm going to have 2 headings. So I'm going to grab a heading and put it in there, and then duplicate it. To duplicate it, I can simply click on Ctrl D. Now we have 2 headings. I'm going to go back to our widget here, and I'm going to drag in our text editor here. This basically takes in a paragraph or a sentence. So I'm going to add it into this. And we now need 2 buttons. I'm going to have 2 buttons here. So to make the 2 buttons, what I'll need to do is take a container like this and add it to our container here below our text. Within that container, we are going to add 2 buttons like this. And then I'm going to add another button within the same container. As you can see, we have 2 buttons, but they are stacked on top of one another. To change this, we can simply select the container they are inside, and we can go to direction here, as you can see, and click on row here to make them appear next to one another. And finally, within this container here, I'm just going to add another image. So I'm going to add that within the same container like that. And I'm just going to move this one to the top like this. And basically, we now have our hero section done. In terms of layout, this is our hero section and it is done. What we need to do is just select this and upload our images. In here, I'm going to input our logo. So I'm just going to select this and then choose our logo. I'm going to make it smaller, nyana, and then I'm going to upload the other image into it. Once the image is uploaded, you just select it and put it in here. As you can see, this is our hero section. All I need to do is modify it a bit. The first thing I'll do is select our image here and go to styles, and let's say align it to the left like this. After that, I'm just going to copy our text into our headings and text here. The first heading is going to be this one, and the second heading is going to be this one, and our text is going to appear like this. The first button is going to be get started, so I'll say get started here instead of click here. Let's say get started. It's a call to action, and then the next one I'm going to say watch demo like this. To change our colors, we simply click on the heading and then click on styles and then click on this button here and select our primary color, but let's select the secondary color so that it's black. And then the second heading is going to be orange, which is our primary color like that. Another thing I'll do is select our headings here and change them to a different font. To do that, I'll just click on the heading and go to typography here and click on this button and search for our font here. The font I'm going to be using is called Raw Dice, so I'll just select that here and then do the same for the other heading. And also, this text for our second heading is not big enough, so I'll change it from an H2 tag to an H1 tag like this and then click on save. I think for our text and our other elements, everything is okay, but I need to edit these buttons here because they are still green. To edit our buttons, you just click on the button, and the first thing I'll do for the buttons is add an icon. So for the first one, I'm going to add a search icon here, and then for the second button, what I'll do is add a video icon. And then I'm going to change the color of the first button by clicking on it and then clicking on styles. And then in here, for our background type, instead of selecting classic, I'll add gradient here. And our gradient is going to go from orange, where is my orange? Here, into red here. So it appears like this. For the second button here, what we are going to do is remove the background color. To do that, I just click on this button here and then change our background color to white, and you'll notice that it's now invisible, but I just need to take the text color and change it to secondary to make it visible again. And as you can see, there is our button, and I think this is going to be our hero section. It looks okay for now, but our orange here doesn't look orange enough for me, so let me try to make it even more orange. Let me see. Alright, that's better. Then I'm gonna click on apply. You'll notice that our header and our hero section here are too close together, so what I need to do to separate them is add some space on the outside of all of them. So what I'll do is click on structure here, and you'll be able to see this structure here. If I go back to the top here, you'll see that this is the grid that we started with. I'm going to change the name from grid to hero section. This is the first section of our website. So to separate it from the header here, we basically just need to add some padding to the top. So I'll go back to styles and advanced, and in here you'll notice that there's this section here for padding. This one is padding top, this one is padding right, bottom and left. I'll click on unlink here so that all the values don't change when I change everything. So at the top, I'm just going to add 50 pixels like this one. I'm not sure if that's enough. Let's say 60 pixels. And at the bottom, I'm going to add another 60 pixels to separate it from the other section that's coming after it. I'm gonna cancel this and click on publish, and boom, I think that is our hero section looks good. So right now we have our header, our hero section, as well as our footer. We need to add the other sections of our home page. To do that, we can click on this icon here or click on this icon here. So basically the section that we're adding next is basically a divider. To add a divider, we basically click on this icon here and pick the divider here and put it in. As you can see, our divider there. What I need to do is just make it a little bit transparent so that it's not too black. So I'm gonna put this one somewhere there and click on publish, and that's our divider. Below our divider, we are going to have our services section here. So to build our services section, we basically have a grid of icons and texts. So what we need to do is click on add icon here and select grid. In the grid settings here, what we can do is say we need 4 columns like this, and we need 1 row. We don't need 2. Within our columns, we are going to add a widget called an icon box here. It's under general. So I'm going to drag that into our first column. This is what it appears like. I'm just going to change our heading here to this, and I'm going to change our description in here, and our icon is also going to be different. I'm going to search for a calendar icon, and I'm going to use, let's say, this one here, and I'm going to change the look of our widget here by clicking on view and clicking on stacked. And then I'm going to go to the styles tab, and I'm going to align our icon to the left like this. Next, I'm going to change the color of our icon to our main color here like this. Okay, click on icon and then change our color to that. For our text, we are going to need it to be secondary, so I'm going to select that. And again, for our title, I'm going to change it from being an H3 tag to an H6 tag to make it smaller. From there, what I can do is click on publish to publish the changes. And as you can see, when you hover over our text here, you get this primary color here. So to change that, what I'll need to do is click on edit and go to style, go to our content, and then click on hover and change this color to our primary color there. And as you can see, now when you hover, you get our colors instead of that blue. We are basically done with our first service. So to add more services, what we need to do is click on this structure here, and we can change the name of our grid here from grid to services. And what we can do is we can click Ctrl D, Ctrl D, Ctrl D to duplicate this. And finally, what I'll do is just change the text in all of this to match what the current service is. So I'll change this one to collaboration tools and change the description. And you'll be able to see that we have our section here. So when you scroll, you can see that our nav bar here goes up, and when you scroll up, it goes back. That's an animation. In order to make sure that our elements animate in when we scroll, what we can do is click on the structure here and then click on the entire services. Yeah. Once we have the services grid, we can click on advanced and then scroll down to motion effects here. Under motion effects, we can select from a bunch of animations. The first one is fade in, where your elements simply fade in. The next one is fade in and drop, and then the other ones are also here as well. All the animations you can add are here, but I like the simplicity of the first one, so I'm gonna select that one and click on publish. So now when we refresh our page, those will simply fade in. I think it's nice to also add that one to the hero section as well, so that it animates in when we scroll. So go to motion effects and select fade in for our hero section as well and click on publish. So to look at how our website looks, we can go back here and click on refresh. You'll be able to see that we have our home page here. So up to so far, I think our website is looking good. It's looking perfect. We can move on to the next section. The next section is just going to be a bridge. So what you need to do is just click on add element here and drag a grid into this. This grid is going to have 1 row and then 2 columns. In the first column, we are going to have an image. In the next column, we are going to have a container. Within that container, we are going to have the following: a heading and another heading, and also an element called an icon list. As you can see here, this is our icon list. We are just going to add it here. So for our image, we are just going to click on edit here and upload an image. Once our image is uploaded, it will look like this. I neglected to tell you this in the hero section, but we have a wide range of options you can apply to your image here. Right now, this looks good, so I don't want to touch it, but you have the option to go to advanced here. In an advanced, you can go down and click on mask, and in mask, when you turn this on, it will give you a wide range of options to customize your image. You can select a circle, you can select many shapes here. You have a wide range of options that you can use to mask your image, but I think the square here is looking okay for now, so I'm gonna leave it as at the square. In our first heading here, we are going to change the text here, and then we're going to change this one to H6 to make it smaller. From there, we will also change the text for the next heading like that. And in our icon list, we're just going to add our features. So I'm going to delete this, and then change the text for the first one to something else, and then duplicate it. And that looks good. All I need to do is change the primary color here from blue to orange, and change the other one from blue again to orange. Let me see. Oh, this one can go back to the secondary color instead of the primary color, like that. And again, we can click on structure here and select the entire grid like this and rename it to bridge. Enter. And then to separate it a bit from the section on top of it, again, we can go to advanced, and in padding here, what we can do is unlink them, and then at the top we can simply add, let's say 30 pixels. That's not enough. Let's say 50 pixels. I think 50 pixels is enough at the top. I'm just going to add 50 pixels at the bottom as well to separate it from the next section, and I'm gonna cancel this and click on publish, and as you can see, we have our bridge right there. To make it animate in, we can go to motion and make it fade in like that, and click on publish. The next section we are going to add to our home page is the counter section. So basically what we need to do is add another grid. So we click on add here and we drag in our grid. Within our grid, we're going to have one row and two columns. Within the first column, we are going to drag in a container, and within the second column, we are going to drag in an image, and let's upload that image. Okay, that's going to be our image right there. And within our first column, what we're going to do is add the following. The first thing we'll add is a heading, and then another heading. From there, we are going to add a container. Within these containers, we are going to add something called a counter. So we basically drag in this counter element here and add it in there. And then let's say duplicate it like this, and as you can see, this appears vertically here, but we need them horizontally. So I'm going to select the container they are in, and I'm going to select the direction here to horizontal like this, right? Once we're done adding our counters, we can add a CTA button at the bottom. So this is our counter section. I'm just going to change the text for the first heading, and then for the second heading, and also change the first heading to an H4 to make it smaller, and then change its color. The next heading, I am going to change it to an H1 to make it bigger, and I'm going to change its color to secondary like this. And then for the typography, I'm going to make it secondary as well. And also the first heading, I'm going to go to typography and make it secondary as well. For our button, I'm just going to change the text from click me to join VidIQ today. And this is a CTA button, so I will add an arrow here. And then I'll change the color from green to orange like that. And then for our counters here, the first counter is going to be users. So I'm going to change the text from cool number to users. And I'm going to change the number from 100 to 50 like this. And for our suffix, I'm going to add K here. So we have 50K users like this. Okay, so that's our first counter. It is done. We just need to go here and then change the color. Change my color to orange like this. Then what I can do is do the same for the other ones. For our second counter, we are going to have 120%, and that's going to be our productivity. I'm going to change the K to a percentage sign, and I'm going to change the 50 to 120, and I'm going to click on Control D to duplicate it. And the last counter is going to be our uptime. I'm going to change this to uptime, and I'm going to have 99.9%, 99.9 also percent, and I'm going to save this. For our image here, I think maybe adding a mask will make it look better, so I'll click on Add Mask, and I'll choose the triangle here and click on Save. And finally, for the entire counter section here, I'm going to change the name grid to counter. And then for the entire counter section, what we can do is make it fade in as well. So go to motion and click on fade in, so that fades in. And also go to advanced and layout, and then add the padding at the top. Let's say 50 pixels. That's the norm. At the bottom, we'll also add 50 pixels as well to separate it from the other section, and click on publish. And as you can see, this is our counter section. So these are the sections that we have now, but our next section is going to be our pricing. In that pricing section, we are going to have a grid. So I'm gonna click here and then put this one here. Within that grid, we're going to have 3 columns but 1 row like this. So I'm going to click on this icon here and add a container to our first column like this. Within our container, we are going to have 2 headings. So I'm going to have this heading and yet another heading. From there, we can add an icon list. So I scroll down and I drag this icon list into this here. And finally, we are going to have a button, which is going to be a call to action or a CTA button like that. So the first heading here is going to be the name of our plan. So this is our pricing. So we need the name of our plan, right? This is the starter plan. And the next heading is going to be our price, but our first tier is going to be free. And for the list items here, what we can do is add the features that are included within that plan. So I'm going to cancel this and I'm going to change the name of the first one here, then duplicate it and change the text and do the same for all the other features. And finally, you know the deal. In here, we are going to change this click me to sign up, and then change it from green to primary like that, and then do the same for the rest of our headings here. So click here and then click on, and then make this one black like this. And then for the color of our icons, we are going to obviously make that one orange, or maybe leave it at blue. That's fine. Okay, and then click on save. From there, what we can do is select the container within which the text is in and click on style and go to border and change the border from default to double. Yeah. After that, you can change the radius of all the corners to 20 to make it rounded, and it will look something like that. Another thing we can do is select the container again and then go to advanced and click on padding and add like 20 pixels. This will add space in between our text and the inside of our border, so I'll just add maybe 30 pixels into that and click on save. And that's our first tier. To create our second tier, we simply click on this container and click on Control D to duplicate it. And what we're going to do is basically change the text. I'm just going to duplicate this 2 times like this, and then I'm going to change the text within to match the appropriate plans. So our Pro plan is going to have everything that is available in the starter plan and these other features here. I'm just going to duplicate them and keep changing the text items here, as you can see. And for our last plan here, we are going to have the enterprise plan for companies. The pricing is going to be custom, and since the pricing is custom, instead of sign up here, we can say contact sales. And I'm just going to change the features here to match everything that's available in the Pro and the other additional features of this plan. So these are our cards for pricing options, and as you can see, they will appear like this. I think they look proper. You can edit them to look however way you want, but I think they look okay. Let's move on to the next section. Once our pricing is done, we are going to add 2 more sections to finish off our website. The first section we're going to add is images. So what I'm going to do is go back to my widgets here, and I'll search for image carousel, and I'll drag that in. This will basically allow me to add a carousel of images. So I will click on add images here and then upload my images. Once all our images are uploaded, you just select them and click on create new gallery and then click on insert. And this is going to be our image carousel. As you can see, it looks okay. So what I'll do is just include a caption here, which is our title, and that's it. I will leave it like that one. I like it the way it is. You have a wide range of options that you can use to modify our image carousel here. You can add a border around each image. You can spread them out a bit, but I like them the way they are, so I'm gonna leave them the way they are. I'm just gonna add 50 pixels to the top as padding and 50 pixels to the bottom like this, and that will be our image carousel. I like it like this. It looks proper. I'll just click on publish, and we are going to add the last section of our website, which is going to be our email newsletter. So to do this, we are going to add a grid. Within that grid, we're going to have 2 columns. Within the first column, I'm going to add an image like this, and in the other column, I'm going to add a container. Within that container, I'm going to add a form. There's a built-in element for adding forms, which is Formlight right here. So I'll drag this into that there, and you can see this is our form. For our image here, I'm going to add an illustration. So I'm just going to upload that illustration now. Just drag it into this field here and then select it once it's uploaded, and you'll see this is our illustration here. So to edit our form, what I'll do is basically change our title. Let's say change our title to orange in color, and also for our button, where's our button? We can change the color to orange as well. Another thing we can do with the form is edit the input fields here. We have access to, let's say, all the input fields. We can cancel, we can duplicate, we can delete them, or we can add new input fields. We also have different layouts available here, so we can press this one to change the layout, or press this one to include an image built into the form. So I'm just gonna select this one because this is the one that I want. And let me see if I click on save here and let me preview this on a new page. You can see that our website looks like this. We have our hero section here, you have our services section, you have our counter, you have our pricing, and you have our image carousel here. And finally, we have our form here. What I noticed now is that maybe they are not aligned properly. You can see the image is higher than the form. To fix that, you go back and select the container in which these items are contained. You select that grid and you go to align items and you click on center to center that image, and you click on publish, and that will be as follows. There is a pro version of Elementor that will give you access to more elements. So if you click on add elements here, you can see that these widgets are reserved for Elementor Pro. If you can afford to pay for Elementor Pro, I highly recommend it. It's very useful. If you build websites for clients, you are going to need it. It's going to make life very easy. But I believe with the skills that you learned in this video, you will be able to build any website out there. We've covered everything from padding to all the widgets that you need to build a functional website in Elementor using WordPress. If you do decide to buy Elementor Pro, please use my link in the description down below. Please like the video, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.